Good morning and welcome to Rose Red Homestead. Today we're going to do the best hamburger buns ever. We're going to do it just a little bit differently because as Cindy and I continue to work on our book on food storage for a year and the menu plans and what you need to buy and the recipes to go along with it, one of the things that we're going to need to learn how to do, if we don't already know how to do, is to make hamburger buns, because those are going to be used for sloppy joes in our book and also for some pizza buns. And so I've been looking at hamburger bun recipes and I have found a phenomenal one. It comes from King Arthur's flour, and so I have adjusted it just a little bit. I'm going to put the link to the King Arthur's flour down in the description, but I have changed it just a little bit because we are assuming in our book that we're going to be off-grid with no availability of grocery stores. So I'll be substituting some ingredients and I'll tell you that as we go along. But because I have been sick and it's quite cold outside, we're not going to be doing off-grid baking. We're just going to be doing off-grid putting it together, and then I'm going to use my regular oven to bake these buns, but I'll show you what the possibilities are. So we're going to get started on that in just a moment when we come right back. If you've watched any of my bread videos on first lessons in bread baking, you know that I have a particular methodology. And so that methodology differs just a little bit from what you're going to read in the King Arthur recipe. So the first thing I'm going to do is to mix all of the dry ingredients together, and I'm just going to do it all by hand, even though I have a perfectly good KitchenAid bread maker over there with a dough hook. So 3½ cups of flour, so there's 1, 2, and 3. And a half. 3½ cups of flour, 1/4 of a cup of sugar, and I have my sugar right here. If I'm in a grid down situation, I am not going to be wanting to wash a lot of different things, so I'm just using my ½ cup measurement for 1/4 of a cup, and that would be half full. And so that goes here. And the next dry ingredient is 1 1/4 teaspoons of salt. So here's my 1 teaspoon and my 1/4 teaspoon. And then I'm going to use 1 tablespoon of yeast. Now I use instant yeast. You can use just regular active yeast if you would like. I store mine in the freezer. May not be able to do that in a grid down situation. We'll have to see. So here's a tablespoon of yeast. And I do not wet my yeast ahead of time. This is a brand new package I had just opened a couple of days ago, so I know that it is still viable. And I'm just going to mix the dry ingredients together. Now, the wet ingredients include an egg, but I don't have fresh eggs if I'm doing this out of food storage. So instead, I'm going to use my egg powder. And I use 2 tablespoons, sometimes kind of heaping tablespoons of egg powder. So there's 1 and 2. And we have a video on how to make these powdered eggs in your dehydrator or your freeze dryer. And I'll put the link to that video. And again, because this is a dry ingredient in this case, I am going to mix that in as well. And then here is 2 tablespoons of butter, but I won't have butter, so this is ghee, and I do make ghee, and I'll put that video in place. And then this is 1 1/4 cups of water that is about 100 degrees. Now, if I just test that with my little finger there, I can't even tell when I'm putting it in the water. That means it's about my body temperature, which is 98, and that's exactly what I want. 98, 99, 100, that's about what I'm wanting for the temperature of this water. And so the next thing is just to mix everything together. And I'm going to start it right here in the bowl. And when it starts looking a little bit raggedy, which is just about there, it is before all of the liquid has been absorbed, I'm just going to dump it right out on the countertop. So I have this pile of raggedy dough. So I'm just going to be pulling it together, squishing it, kneading it, folding it, making sure that the flour gets all mixed in. I'm ready to add more liquid or more flour if necessary, whichever way it goes. These buns are phenomenal. They are absolutely the best hamburger buns I have ever made in my life. And they're very easy to do. So we'll be making 8. The directions say to knead for 5 to 8 minutes. So I'm going to knead for 3 or 4 minutes. And then part of my methodology is to just let the dough rest for about 10 minutes. It will continue to develop the gluten, and that's what we're wanting. Notice that it's picked up all the flour pretty much. Here's some around here I can pick up. And that it is soft but not sticky. It's not sticking to my hands. It's not sticking to the countertop. So I'm just going to get this started. And this is the best trick ever that I talk about in my first lessons in bread baking, that you don't have to do a continuous knead. And I learned this when I was working out of a wonderful book on artisan bread. Okay, so now I'm just going to set this right here, invert the bowl, and we'll be back in about 10 minutes while we let this rest. When you come back to your bread dough after letting it just sit for a little while, the texture may have changed a little bit. This has risen just a little bit, but I can tell that this is more sticky than it was when we left it. So I am going to put a little bit of flour out here, and we're going to continue the kneading process. Oh yeah. That you'll be able to feel as you knead with your hands after letting it rest that the whole feel of the dough has changed. This is smoothing out. It's very soft. Not so soft that it sticks anymore because I've floured it just a little bit, but it's very smooth now. And we'll knead this for about 5 minutes. Now, in the bottom of this bowl, I've put a little bit of oil. So I'm just going to get the top all greased up and then put the whole thing in. And then we're going to cover it with this grocery bag, and we will come back when that has doubled. Now, depending on the situation, when we let this rise, whether we're outside or whatever our circumstances are, if we are off-grid and having to live differently than we did before, it may take a while for it to get up to double in size. If it's hot, warm, we may be done in half an hour. Otherwise, it might be an hour, maybe 2 hours. But let the dough tell you when it's ready, because it's ready when it has doubled in size. So we'll be back when that occurs, and I'll let you know how much time has gone by. Well, so we just had an interesting event occur. Here's my little bun dough sitting right here, and Jim thought it was something else that he needed to take out to the refrigerator, and he grabbed it like that and punched a hole in it, and it has deflated. That reminds me of the Thanksgiving that I had a plate of rolls that I had, or a baking sheet of rolls put on the piano bench with a cover over the top to rise, and my son-in-law sat on the piano bench. But no harm done here, we're good. Okay, so what's going to happen now is we're going to just get a little flour here, and we're going to gently deflate this dough all the way. Jim gave us a good start on it. And as I deflate this, I'm also trying to put it in kind of a rectangular form because I want to make it even all over. And I never get it all the way even, so I can just tell you that right now. And then I'm going to cut it in 8 pieces. Now I'm going to take each one and I'm going to tuck the ends up inside. It's just tucking, tucking, tucking. And then on the underneath side, I'm going to pinch everything together, kind of stitch it with my hands, poking the seams in the middle. So it's all tucked in like that. And then I'm going to put it down on the countertop, and with my hand cupped like this, I'm just going to, now it's kind of sticking to the bar, which is exactly what I want. So what I'm doing is rolling it around underneath my hand like this to where it forms a nice perfect little ball. And then with the palm of my hand, I'm going to flatten it to where it's about 3 inches across. And then I'm just going to slide it right here on this baking sheet. So there's our first bun. I'm going to do the rest of these. And you have choices here if you want to make them all the same size and are persnickety about that. You can weigh the dough and make them all equal. Or if you have a family where you have children who may not want a full-size bun, you can adjust the sizes accordingly. All right, I'll finish this off camera and we'll come back. I'm finishing up the last one because I want you to see the underside. I forgot to show you the underside after I was all finished. So here's where I'm bringing everything together and kind of stitching it there. And then shaping in a ball. Now you can see the underside there. Now when I flatten it, hardly anything. So it's going right here. And just before I put the tea towel on, I take a look, and if I need to kind of redistribute dough so that it's not going to be high on one side, and I do that. And then we just cover these, and we don't let them rise until double. We let them rise until they're just a little bit puffy. So 15 or 20 minutes. We'll come back. I'm going to go ahead and turn the oven on right now for 375 so that it can be heating and ready, that we can just pop these in as soon as they're ready. So we'll be back shortly. Well, it has been 45 minutes, which is longer than I expected, but ta-da, here they are, puffy. And so this is about all the puffiness that we want. Now I'm going to just brush these with a little bit of ghee over the top of each one. All right, they're ready to go into the oven. 375, and we'll start checking at about 15 minutes. Generally, they have been getting done in about 18 to 20 minutes, but we'll come back when they're out of the oven. I just this second took these out of the oven. Look how gorgeous they are. I wish you could be here to smell them. These are not the size, and I'm buttering the tops again, not quite the size of those that you buy in the store, but they're, just about exponentially better tasting. The crumb is a tighter consistency, and it holds the hamburger makings or whatever it is that you're going to put on there, instead of soaking in and getting the bread all soggy. It really holds whatever it is that you're going to put on it much better than regular buns do. So these buns will make a wonderful addition to our food storage plan, having the yeast and all of the ingredients on hand, so that if we have to live off grid, can't buy these at the grocery store, they will be, we can make our own, and they're just absolutely gorgeous. So try these. I'm going to post the recipe exactly as, I'm posting the link to King Arthur where this is found you'll notice that their method is just a little bit different than my method is, and both will work, I'm sure. So experiment around with these and enjoy very much. We'll come back in just a few minutes after these have cooled a little bit, and I'll show you the inside. All right, so let's see what the crumb looks like on one of these. I'm going to select a larger one and just slice through it. So you can see how tight together those air bubbles are, but it is a tighter texture than store-bought buns. But what makes these so outstanding is the taste. They just taste phenomenal. I hope you try this. And here is the bottom as well. The bottoms of these just turn out really nicely as well, beautifully browned. And so that adds to the overall effect of these buns as well. I think that it will be really rewarding. I was going to say fun, but that may not be the right word. If we are in a grid down situation and for a long period of time and have to do things like this on our own in order to have the meals that we wish, I think it will be very rewarding to have recipes that we have tried and know work. Now, in a grid down situation, I won't have my lovely oven over here, so I'm going to have to work out something else, maybe cook them inside one of my Dutch ovens, but I'm going to be doing some experimenting over the next few months, and I'll bring you along for those excursions as well. So I think this was tremendously successful, and I hope you try this recipe because, oh my gosh, it is phenomenal. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.